Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we have a potential spoiler, a potential card spoiler, which might reveal some things to us that I think we did not know before, and it came from this tweet, which I assume is from one of the artists, that work on Legends of Runeterra. And it's talking about, how they got there, the concept art of Talia, and etc, doing the art for Talia. But within that, there's a little bit of gameplay that shows a card, and I need to give a shout out to Wenrex, who put this on the subreddit and alerted my attention to it. But if we go deeper into the video here, you can see that they use a stone weaving, and then we get this. We get these three cards: Ripper's Bay, which we know, Ancient Preparations, which we know, and Burning House, which has this riot symbol instead of any art. And I'm assuming that that is, what they do, because obviously they design the cards before they get the art for the cards. And so I'm assuming that this is what's going on. And Burning House. Now, you might not be able to see it so clearly just there, but I can try and read it for you. It says, Countdown 12. Create a burning demon in hand. Advance me 1 round when you play a non-burst spell or skill, even if I'm in your deck or hand. Or hand or deck, I should say. So, obviously we don't know what a burning demon is. It's a 1-mana countdown 12 landmark. And as people have rightly pointed out, this doesn't guarantee that this is coming into the game. This is just in their test versions. They have plenty of these cards that, they probably test and throw away. But I actually think that this probably is somewhat further along in development. Mostly because, they've got a very specific, they've got all, I don't know how exactly they, code the sort of words to be, like keywords or whatever. But, the card looks like a card that could very much see play. It seems, pretty balanced overall. It seems like an interesting concept. And it's in Noxus. And, if this was in Targon or Freljord or Shurima that already have countdown landmarks, then I'd be more willing and more inclined to say, like, oh, maybe this is a card that, they aren't going to bring out because, maybe this landmark got replaced with one of the ones that we actually got in the game. But no, this is in Noxus. That does not have these kind of things. It does not have any countdown landmarks. And so, this would be a one-off, and, they've gone, this far and testing it out and things like that. So it's already, made its way into the game. So it's probably, a couple steps already into development at this point. And I think that this is a card that we could see that maybe is just lacking some art as we see it in its current form in front of you. Now, this also tells us some other things, potentially, because there is a character who, very much sort of fits this whole kind of design, and that is Annie, who's from Noxus, who is to do with burning things, there's a pyrotechnic thing going on with Annie, so it definitely makes sense to have something like that be for Annie. And it would not shock me if this kind of spoils that we might be getting Annie in this next upcoming set. Of course, this is all just random speculation. But at the same time, I think it's a pretty big clue. Like, we obviously kind of, have a character who it would make sense to come out with. It's a character that, I think is probably, coming out pretty soon. It's a good character to bring into the game. Fits exactly what what's going on. Obviously, we can't see how sort of good this will be because we don't know what a burning demon is. But we can also potentially, look at some of the things that they're thinking about, at least in terms of design. Which, even if this isn't a card, that comes out, the general sort of design and play pattern, they're not going to release this. This isn't a card that they're going to release as just like a one-off. Oh, this has this ability, but no other card does, right? If this is a card for Annie, whenever Annie does come out, even if it's not in the next set, Annie's thing will probably be around, non-burst spells, playing non-burst spells and skills. That will be Annie's thing. Like, it will be. or something around that. You know, she will either create things for you to, you know, use, you know, non-burst spell skills or whatever. She'll create them, or, you know, you'll get, that's what her followers will also do, and that's what she'll be based around. That kind of thing is coming. In some way, shape, or form, that kind of thing is coming at some point. Because they wouldn't just, you know, design this completely out of the blue and randomly. We know how cards work. They fit together. Much like if we saw Ancient Preparations, you know, say we knew what these two cards were, but we didn't know what this was. You know, the text of this would tell us that the keyword predict is coming. That countdown landmarks are, you know, well, we could already assume that they're in the game, but we'd know the word predict. Same for Ripper's Bay. If this had no art, you know, we'd know that there's a thing called lurk coming. When allies attack, discard the top card of your deck if it doesn't have lurk. You know, this would tell us quite a lot already. So I think, you know, we can at the very least assume that there is going to be something to do with non-burst spells and skills. And that, you know, Annie, I mean, we obviously know that all the champions at some point are coming out, but it's more likely that Annie is coming out somewhat sooner than later, I would have thought, because, you know, they've already got sort of cards that sort of, you know, go with her in sort of coded into their versions of the game. And, you know, that's pretty exciting that, you know, we might get I mean, this card, I would say most likely is going to come out, you know, in the upcoming sets, but it might not. We don't know. And of course, Annie could be in any of the 3 sets. It might not be in this, you know, newest one for us. They might bring out Annie later on. So there's no guarantee that we will see Annie straight away, but it's still very exciting. And it's, you know, a kind of a bit of an accidental leak. And yeah, it's going to be really, I just thought I'd point that out to you, know, because I like this sort of theory part of it all. You know, we're so desperate for, you know, spoilers we know are coming pretty soon, and I think they will be coming, you know, within the next, it definitely has to start within the next week from when I am speaking right now, just because there's probably going to be, I would guess, 10 champions, because there was 8 on the release of Targon, and there was 9 on the release of Shurima, so I would guess that they're going to do 10 for the release of Bandle City, the 10th region. And with, you know, with that in mind, you know, 10 champions means, you know, at least 20 days of spoilers for, you know, follow a champion. So, you know, we're already getting pretty close to when the spoilers should be coming out if you use that logic. And so, yeah, Burning House could be the first spoiler that we've got. Wouldn't it be funny if, like, later on today they just actually sort of showed us the full version of this card? But either way, I just thought I'd point that out to you. And, you know, a little bit of spoiler news, you know, get those spoiler juices flowing, get, you know, thinking about, okay, what would this, you know, archetype, and I do kind of hope this is an archetype, I should say as well, because that seems like a very flexible thing. You know, we all love our flexible design champions. You know, we all love the Swains of the world that, you know, you can pair with a bunch of different things. I think generally people's favorite champions, you know, or the ones that they like the design of most, tend to be ones that, you know, you could play with like 5 different regions, and it makes sense. So, you know, playing non-burst spells or skills, like, yeah, every region has them. We can all do that. So that would be really cool if that was the case. And, you know, even if I'm in your hand or deck as well, there's an interesting thing. So, you know, you could, in theory, get the count. You could get a 1 mana straight up, you know, just play it, depending on when you get it, which I kind of like that design as well. Because, you know, I think a problem that you can have with, like, Frozen Thralls or whatever is you have to find those landmarks somewhat early, because if you don't, then things like Draklorn Inquisitor and things like that, you know, just don't make any sense. So, yeah, really, really interesting, and I thought I'd just point this out to you. Thank you for the person on Twitter who found it, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave you and love you there. Hopefully spoilers are soon. You can catch me streaming later today, or probably right now as you're watching this, to be honest. So thank you for watching, and have a really nice day.